Hansu and Yunwi 3, Episode 3 of ourblues, starts us off back on Jeju Island. Young-ok's phone constantly blows up with messages. Individual annoying one-letter messages reading "I miss you." Whoever it is, they want to meet, but the reply Young-ok gives, second Saturday of next month, is met with a wonderfully cheerful UBTCH. As you may have guessed from the episode title, the focus here is still on Hansu and Yunwi. Yunwi is dancing about and excited about her upcoming trip to Mokpo. Rumors of Hansu being her boyfriend, not to mention the pair allegedly about to have sex at the weekend, spread like wildfire across the tight-knit community. Yunwi does sail across on the ferry with Hansu, as the latter broaches the subject of Hosik. Now, it turns out she actually dated him 20 years ago, but they're not an item anymore. Despite that, Yunwi admits she feels like a traitor to Hosik. After seeing his family, including Hosik's bedridden grandparents, she felt a huge burden and decided to break up with him off the back of this. She had aspirations to rise above the poverty line, and being with Hosik, seeing his family and how they were all eking out a living, was enough for her to break up with him based on this. The pair share stories like this while they head up to the highest heights of Mokpo, just as they promised one another. Yunwi starts sneezing just prior to this, prompting Hansu to stop and rush into the pharmacy and pick up some medicine for her. The pair have a lovely time, taking a trip down memory lane. There are some really warm and lovely overlapping flashbacks here too, as we see Yunwi and Hansu together, laughing while eating cotton candy. Oh, and obviously the scenes involving them sharing their first kiss on the steps at the back of the real estate shop too. As they walk together, eating candyfloss each, Hansu puts his arm about Yunwi's shoulder. As they talk, Yunwi admits that she believes she'll die alone, pointing out that with every relationship she only really sees her own best interests. Funnily enough, this hits quite close to the bone for how Hansu approaches his relationships too. The pair eventually shack up at a fancy 5-star hotel, which happens to be built over the spot of an old inn they stayed at last time. They both have their own rooms, with Hansu promising her that this is their first and last trip down memory lane. While Hansu heads out to get some alcohol so they can have a drink, the motley band of residents including In-guan, Jeongjun and Myungbo all phone Yunwi, concerned. They put her on speakerphone as she mentions that Hansu is actually separated, and has been for the better part of 7 years. Only, that's obviously not true. After getting off the phone, Yunwi's mobile starts blowing up with messages, all of which photos from Myungbo. These are of Hansu and his family together from their social media page a year back. She's also warned that Hansu is in a lot of debt, and the money he's been asking to borrow from everyone is also he can pay for his daughter's golf lessons. In-guan warns that he'll never pay her back, given Jaemin is still waiting for her funds. At the same time, Hansu receives a video call from Boram, which he answers when he gets back. She's not happy playing golf and wants to quit. She also wants to head back to Seoul too. Hansu is in denial and believes his daughter is lying. Boram and Miram both put him in his place, as Hansu is left to despair about his broken dreams and how he's tried to project them on his family, causing them more misery. All that money and time he spent trying to force something through that was never going to work. Hansu is distraught. When he heads over to see Yunwi after, she confronts him about his money woes. She believes the entire weekend is one big fraud and confronts Hansu over his lies. She even bashes him upside the head with a cushion. Yunwi is understandably hurt that he's used her emotions against her, as Hansu struggles hold back tears of his own and apologizes for hurting her. It's a really heartbreaking moment, as Yunwi watches him leave and ends up eating alone in this hotel room, reflecting on her life. When Hosik rings back, Yunwi points out that she's lent money out to them, and also to In-guan too, wondering how this is any different. Despite Hansu's betrayal, Yunwi still has the wherewithal and heart to see things from his perspective, and hangs up on them both. In the morning she actually transfers him the money after all, likening it to a business losing money. It's such a beautiful gesture, and eventually he heads off to the airport, picking up Boram and Miram, and deciding to head off on a road trip. Hansu messages Yunwi to tell her everything he's up to, including how he'll come back and share drinks with them in the future. He signs off to her as your forever friend, as Yunwi messages back, and tells him he'd better return. The thing is, Hansu is actually her first love, and as she picks up her journal and writes inside, she says goodbye before drowning her sorrows in alcohol. For someone who doesn't like giving out money, Yunwi sure does dish out a lot to her friends. It's a testament to her character and how, behind that brash persona, she's actually a really sweet and beautiful lady that just wants all of her friends to be happy. Her ability to see things from another's perspective is a great bit of wisdom, and it speaks volumes about her character that she's able to do that. While Han Su's actions are sneaky and somewhat cowardly, you can really feel how difficult this is for him, deceiving his old friend, as he realizes he needs to betray her trust. Personally, it would have been nice to see Han Su come to that conclusion himself, admitting the truth out of guilt, rather than being forced to confront that by Ho Sik, In Guan and the others. It would appear that the Han Su and Yunwei saga is over, at least for now, and I'd imagine the episodes that follow this will be make or break for this show. Well, that sounds like hyperbole. I'm intrigued and cautiously optimistic to see how the other characters and their stories interweave around this. Will the tone feel jarring? Will everything almost feel like a completely different show? Or will there be a natural ebb and flow to this that helps everything feel consistent and gel together? We'll have to wait and see.